Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Let's Get Clacking, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a fun pillow. Because it has a specific print on it that I want, which doesn't fit the standard 40 by 40 pillowcase, I'm going to have to sew a little bit myself. Luckily, it's a few straight edges, so I'll be fine. I'm also going to be testing out a new technique that has been making the rounds on many different Facebook crafty groups, sublimation groups, etc., where you actually sublimate onto the HTV itself. Now you can do this in two different ways. You can use Flock vinyl or you can use glitter vinyl. For this video, I'm going to be using Flock. Flock vinyl is a heat transfer vinyl that's slightly furry. So it has a nice soft, furry-ish feel to it, which is I think why a lot of people are using it at the moment. And it comes in white and many other colors, but the white is sublimatable. Now, sublimatable and sublimation, you guys are probably thinking, what? If you're not in the crafty business, then you may be thinking, Kelly, what are those words? I'm pretty sure you've just made them up. No. Sublimation is the process whereby the ink is printed out and you use heat to change the ink into a vapor, and then it adheres to the polyester fibers in the material. When I made this t-shirt, really? What? Okay. So we have someone joining us just for the intro. When I made this t-shirt that I have on, I had to use a piece of vinyl which is then essentially glued onto the t-shirt. So sublimation you generally have to do on white polyester type fabrics. You wouldn't be able to do it on a t-shirt like this because A, this is cotton, and B, it's black. So sublimation works best with white as it essentially stains the fabric. So the method I'm going to be using today is combining both of those elements, whereas I'm essentially going to be staining the flock and then gluing the flock onto the material that I'm going to be making out of the pillow out of. Can I help you? And now that our little handy helper has joined us for this video, I think we can get started. So, let's get clacking. The first thing I do when I want to do something like this is I go to Google and I try and search for a picture of something that I might want. So in this case, it will be the subscribe button for YouTube. I want to have a nice, cool, fluffy pillow in the background that says subscribe. I'm not going to be using this for commercial use, so I don't need to worry about copyright. I'm not going to be selling this at all. I'm just going to be using it for myself to have in the background of my videos. Copyright shouldn't be a problem. So this is the actual button that you subscribe on YouTube. So you can, I can use that if I wanted to. I wanted something maybe a little bit bigger. So I'm leaning towards this button because it also has the YouTube iconic play button on it as well, which is really nice. So, you know, people at least then know that it's for YouTube as opposed to just subscribe. If I have, you know, work video calls and there's buttons in the back, then people ask me about my background all the time anyway. So it's a nice conversation starter. So I might just go with this one. So let's take a look. And I can see this is a nice big image. It's 1920 by 1080. Now the reason why that's important is because when you're printing it on a relatively, not a large scale, but it's not going to be something that size. It's going to be something that's maybe, you know, 20 by 40 centimeters. You don't want it to be a very low quality, purely because it'll then come out pixelated and it'll look terrible. So I'm going to copy the image, which I can do because I'm pasting into Silhouette Studio and I have a business edition license, so I can just paste images in there. I can see here that the image is 19 by 33, so that's just larger than A4 size. If I wanted to save myself some hassle, I could just leave it this size. I could change the page setup from 12 by 12 to A4. Let's orient the picture sideways. And you see how it's just a little bit longer, so if I wanted to make it a little bit smaller, I could then have it that size. And that's the cut border, not the print border. So let's put the print border on. So the print border is now on, so I could have my pillow that size. But 15 by 28 is a little bit smaller than I'd wanted it to be. I mean, it's a relatively nice size, but I'd kind of planned on it being a little bit bigger. I also need to think about bleed size for where I sew the image onto. I'm actually going to see if I can push the boundary of the print a little bit, because I wanted to print as big as possible with as much of a bleed area, and then I'm going to send it to print. Now I need to send this to my Sawgrass print manager, not to the printer, because the print manager calculates printing colors and flips the image for you and everything like that. So if you just send it straight to the printer, it'll print it. The color profile won't be correct, which means that when you press the item, it won't come out these colors. It won't flip the image. So when you press it, you will have to, well, it'll come out backwards. Obviously, because we're using writing and things like that, we want to make sure that it's mirrored in order to have the writing correct. So it's printed through Sawgrass Print Manager. We can be lazy, and then the software does everything for you. Work smart, not hard. It's my motto. I say that a lot. And here we go. So here you will see the image when it loads, it's already flipped. So it looks like some funny language, and we just click print, and then it'll come up in the printer.
A few moments later.
Everything's printed. As you can see, it's quite a big print. But it's not going to be a very big pillow. I don't want it to be exceptionally large, so that's fine. Just going to trim it down. So this is the flock. You can't really see the feel, but slightly fluffy, which is really nice. So this will essentially then go on there, and it'll then sublimate that. You can probably only just see, but you can see through the paper it says subscribe. Now this is just plain poly cotton material. I actually use it for my masks, my custom masks that I make. I use it also with sublimation. So you could sublimate directly onto this, and then it would just be normal poly cotton fabric. But the reason why I'm doing it onto the flock, A, to test it, and B, because I like the feel. So the feel of the flock is nice and slightly fluffy, which is what I want. I might even try and print another one and do glitter on the other side. That's actually quite a nice idea. I've got white glitter that I want to try. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to print another one of these, and I'm going to cut exactly the same out of glitter. So we have flock on the one side and glitter on the other. Glitter doesn't really like being rolled up, so I don't know if you can see, but there's little marks and it's come off the edge a bit. Really not a problem. This is going to go straight onto the t-shirt, onto the poly cotton anyway, so it's not a problem at all. So we have our two subscribes, we have our glitter, and we have our flock. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all cut the poly cotton down to size. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this size. Slightly bigger. I want at least a 1 centimeter seam on either side. So when I sew it, I'm going to need to make sure that I, get it on the red so we don't have ugly white sticking up. So I'm just going to do that. Here we have our pieces. See, it's the right size, and I'm going to remove the carrier sheet. So at the back for the flock, you need to remove the carrier sheet, which is at the back, and then press that. That's the glue, that shiny stuff there, and then that then sticks onto that. And then this, with the glitter vinyl, it's the opposite. So with the glitter vinyl, the carrier sheet is on the top, so I can press this straight onto the poly cotton and it'll be fine. But with the flock, it's the other way around. The carrier sheet's actually at the back. So we just need to make sure we remove that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip out the heat press, warm it up. The heat press is now at temperature. I'm going to try the glitter one first, just because I'm used to working with the glitter HTV. So I know that I can just put it on there just like that, press it, and it'll be fine. I don't need to press it for the full amount of time because I just need it to stick. So I can just peel it off, just like that. And we have the glitter perfectly pressed. Then I take our subscribe logo, make sure that I center it, that it's all covered. I'm even going to use a little bit of heat tape. just to make sure that it doesn't move and get dislodged. But I'm going to do that in a second. I'm going to first do the other piece. I should technically be pre-pressing these, but they're so light, it's okay. They're so small. I'll take the backing off this one. Now, having never worked with this before, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. It's pretty much exactly like the other one. Okay. Again, we don't need to press it for the full 15 seconds. We just need it to be able to tack. Okay. Now I'm actually going to put the heat press. Up to 200 because that's what the temperature needs for sublimation. While that's heating up, I'm just going to orient this one so that it's also the same as the glitter. Now, when it comes to putting the heat tape on, I'm trying to put it as little onto the. You'll see that I'm trying to put it on the white part where there is no printing, just because the heat tape will inhibit the heat from going through, which means that it may actually, I've actually seen it stop the transfer of the inks onto the item that you want to transfer. So you don't want to be putting heat tape willy-nilly everywhere. I mean, with this one it's probably fine because those sides are going to be sewn in anyway, but when it comes to other things that you're not sewing it in, you're sublimating everything that's going straight onto the fabric or the item, you definitely don't want it to have a section where it looks like you can see a tape line where the inks didn't actually heat up properly and transfer.
A few moments later.
Heat press is now at 200, so I'm going to get the sublimation going on Flock. All done. Let's do the big reveal. Okay, it's ready. You can see, so interestingly enough, there was something there. See there? There was actually something on the, it almost looks like a pimple. It's like indented. Okay, I can feel it. But that looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. Super thrilled. So let's get going with the other one. This is the glitter. Can't feel anything there, so let's just YOLO it. Okay, let's see how this one came out. Oh, this looks sensational. And again, you can see some of the glitter actually came off on this one, which was quite cute. These are the two we now have. So the glitter is obviously a little bit softer of a color, but I think it looks sensational. So at least when we know that when we're working with the glitter HTV, we can expect it to be slightly softer. The flock is beautiful. It's bright color, which I really love. And it is also, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's very, very cool. So then I'm going to sew these together and I'll show you guys the result. So I've tried to line the corners up as much as possible. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be, so it's okay. So I'm just going to sew about 1/2 centimeter inwards of the end line. Okay, so now this has been sewn almost all the way around. Left a little bit of a gap, probably too small of a gap, always what I do, but I'm just going to trim off the excess. Doesn't need to be pretty, and I've left that part a little bit bigger because we need to have a little bit more give there when we want to sew it up. Typically you would do this with just the plain poly cotton and have like a pocket on the inside, but I don't really want that for this kind of pillow. I might actually need to make this a little bit bigger because I don't think all of this is quite rigid, which I hadn't thought about, and I don't think it's going to get through that tiny little hole. Quick unpick to the rescue. Best thing ever. Made the hole hole a bit bigger, so let's see if this works. Let's try this a bit bigger. I don't want to damage the vinyl too much. This is hurting me. Not physically, of course. Sure, that was scary. Poke everything from the corners out. Oh, I love this. And then obviously when we're done stuffing it, we then just sew that together so it'll look like that. Beautiful. Okay, let's get stuffing. I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to doing this, but this is literally how I do it. It probably is a right way and a wrong way. This is more than likely the wrong way. But don't care. Get in there. I don't want this to be crazy full, because otherwise it's just going to balloon out and look like that, and I don't want that. So I'm going to leave it like this. Obviously need to push it down a little bit to the bottom so that I can hand sew this part, and then I can space it all out a little bit more evenly once it's all done. But how cute is that? Almost done, almost there. There we have it, folks, our very own subscribe button. It's obviously very messy here, not ideal at all. Gonna have to think of another way to make this neat, but I mean, I think this looks amazing. It's exactly what I need it for, you know, to make a little bit of a statement in my videos. Hit the subscribe button or put it up on my shelf somewhere. I think it's perfect for that. You don't need to inspect it up close, and like I keep saying in each of my videos, you know, it's handmade. I'm not a person working in a factory. I'm not a computer. I'm not a machine. I'm a person that is making things, and I think we're all far too hard on ourselves when it comes to making things like this, and we expect it to be exactly as it would look like if it had to come out of a factory. No, it's not supposed to. I mean, yes, we want to do our best work, and I'm not going to lie, this is not my best work, but it's great. I think it's perfect, and I'm thrilled with the result. You guys can definitely do better. I know it, because you can learn from my mistakes. And if you know a way of neatening that up a bit, I mean, bearing in mind that we have to go through 2 layers of flock, 2 layers of glitter, and 2 layers of polycotton. So there's 6 different layers we have to go through, which is why it was so difficult to actually get that to look very neat. The stuff is very rigid, as you can see. It's not a very soft substance. So keeping that in mind, please give me some tips. I'd love to get some feedback. Thanks very much for watching this video, guys. You know, we've got to make our cute little subscribe button. I hope you guys learned something. I know I definitely did. It was my first time putting sublimation onto glitter and sublimation onto flock vinyl. So it was great to bring you guys along to learn, to test things, and to make a cute little button. I mean, it's adorable. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos in the future, hit that subscribe button. And if you hit the little notification bell, it'll let you know of videos that I release in the future. On the side, you can subscribe to my channel. And on this side at the top, you'll be able to see my latest video. And just below that is a video that YouTube thinks that you'll like. Thanks again, everybody. Please be kind to somebody today. See you next time. Cheers!